If you feel like you're always chasing growth but never really arriving, you're not alone. And you're not broken in any sort of way. It's just that the destination that you have in your mind, it doesn't really exist. No one tells you this, but self-improvement doesn't have a finish line. There is no end destination where you've arrived or you get to. And once you understand the why behind this, you learn to stop fighting and start flowing with the process. What is up, everyone? I hope you're doing well. If you don't know me, my name is Ishaan and welcome to the video. When I was 18, I thought if I just build my body, fix my bad habits, get all the girls, then I'll feel whole. Like, finally, I'm the man, I have everything that I want. At this time, I'm 24, so 6 years later, I've hit almost every goal that I had in mind at that time. And yet, I still don't feel the way that I expected to. And I'm realizing that achievement does not equate to arrival. Achievement does not directly equate to growth. I still think my physique needs more work. I still think that I have more inner work to do so I can better myself for my projects, my passion, my family, for my woman. Every time I hit a new level, there just always seems to be another hill to climb. But the mindset shift that transforms all of this is that growth does not have an end destination. It's more of a rhythm and a flow. You kind of have to go with it. And I'm finally just now starting to internalize this more. I never really recognized this pattern within me because for some reason, I don't know why, I thought I was immune to it. Like, just because of the work that I was pursuing or seeing my achievement, I just thought, oh no, like that's not gonna happen to me. But one of the recent moments that I truly opened my eyes to this was just a few months ago during my first semester of my PhD program. When I was in college, I thought the high-paying job was gonna bring me fulfillment. When I got the high-paying job in healthcare tech, I thought going back to a PhD program would fix everything. But this pattern in my mind of thinking that the next thing was going to be it was the same in every setting. Same thoughts, same dissatisfaction, same belief that the next chapter was going to be something that completes me. I recognized this and spoke about it in a video a few months ago that I posted it on YouTube. You could probably find it, or I'll link it in the description actually. And that's when I realized that no place, no person, no accomplishment will ever feel perfect, and neither will I. You don't need to constantly fix yourself. You just need to keep evolving. And this happens in seasons. If you're currently in a season of growth, then if you're in a season of growth, or if you're trying to find your rhythm, definitely check out my free community, linked in the description. Just like how nature has seasons, growth follows the same kind of pattern. And that's the rhythm of it. There's times of grind, there's times of retreat, and there's times of rebirth. In hindsight, 2024 for me is a perfect example of this, bro. From January to April, I pretty much retreated. I was recovering from burnout from my job. I was leaving my job. I had finished my grad school applications, had gotten my acceptances, so I was pretty much like enjoying life in that time period, I would say. And then summertime came. I moved to Sweden for almost 2 months to work on a summer project. I had broken up with the woman that I was in love with, so I was going through a lot. So that was the time period where I had a rebirth, recovering from the breakup, rebuilding myself. And that honestly set up the stage perfectly for August time when I started my PhD program. And that's when I felt completely into grind mode. You know, like I've moved away from my parents and family again, friends and family again, and started my PhD program. You have to recognize that some seasons are for planting seeds Other seasons are when those seeds bloom, and sometimes, bro, you don't know when that seed is gonna bloom. Like, I feel like there's some seeds that I've planted like back in the day, especially with social media, I would say. Those seeds were planted like 5 years ago, and I feel like they still haven't fully bloomed or reached their capacity yet at all. So I'm like really looking forward to what this year, the next few years are gonna hold for me, because I know how serious I am, or how much I enjoy it and the learnings that I get from it. Like, I just don't see myself not making videos anymore. And that's not something I could have said in the past. That wasn't even part that that just came out. I did not have that in my talking points at all. But then there's also seasons that are just for surviving, and you need that. You need that as well. That's part of the healing period. Because the people who grow the most, they don't force it 24/7. They listen. They flow. They're the ones who learn to listen to when it's time to go inwards, and when it's time to externalize the internal learnings to level the fuck up. It's honestly a waltz and a dance that you have to play with life, where some phases you gotta take a step back, chill out, relax, and in some phases you gotta go all in, and you gotta treat some things as if there's nothing else that matters in the world. That's just me though. Like, that's how I feel like my journey has played out, and I want to continue to explore this further now that I have an even heightened awareness of this pattern. Some practical but hopefully soulful tips that have helped me and can potentially help you. Number one, detach from perfection. Perfection doesn't exist, bro. We're fucking humans. We're supposed to be imperfect. Imperfection makes us perfect in a way. And I know it's cringe or corny to say this out loud, because like, it is. And it is corny, like whatever, but it's so true. We are imperfect, and that uniqueness that we have within us is what makes us perfect. Like, everything I talk about in my videos, I wouldn't be able to speak about it if I didn't have my imperfections, if I didn't have my insecurities, if I didn't have fears and doubts that I've overcome. You're not broken. You're becoming. You're embodying your best self gradually. And that's what the process is supposed to be like. The second tip, honor and respect your past and your future. Fall in love with who you're becoming. This was one of my biggest downfalls in the beginning. Self-love is not waiting at the end after you've achieved everything. That self-love is the starting point where you have to begin. You have to wholeheartedly and fully embrace your wins, your L's, your flaws, your mistakes, your fears, your insecurities, your doubts, before you can use the lessons to level the fuck up. And I can tell you from my personal experience, bro, I've lived this life. I know that no amount of material things are gonna change my internal state. Material things only amplify what's already within you. So if you have hate, you have lust, you have all these things residing within you, money is not gonna make it better. It's gonna make it significantly worse by giving you more access to feed into those behaviors and emotions. And I can't believe that I didn't realize this until I got my high paying job, had enough money to do mostly like whatever I would want to do, and still the same thought patterns. And I realized that, yeah, the material things are only amplifying what's already in here and not changing what's in here, which is why anytime you want anytime you want to change your life in a very crazy way or in a very transformational way that you're turning it upside down, it starts from within. It doesn't start externally, it starts from within. The more you change your internal state, the more you see that reflected in your external reality. Guaranteed. You quote me on that one. Tip number 3, measure progress in decades, not days. Play the long fucking game. Growth that lasts takes time, bro. When you play the long game, the short-term failures, they lose their power. Because when you're playing in decades, short L's, they don't fucking matter, bro. You're still gonna win. you're still winning because those L's are teaching you something that's preparing you for what's going to come next in your life. And when all of your preparation meets the opportunities that start to present themselves to you, when you start doing that inner work, that's when everything starts to come together. And I really hope that you can, I feel like that has happened for me in life at various points, and I really hope that you can reflect on and probably identify some of those things as well. I think one of the instances that I'm currently thinking of is from my summer 2021, where I had enough research experience to apply for and receive undergraduate research programs. Like, I don't think that there was any reason for me to not be able to secure an organized summer internship based on the research projects I'd already worked on. But still, I got rejected, bro. And that's part of life. I just didn't let that stop me. I kept going. I started cold emailing scientists. I'm like, yo, I'm interested in your research work. You think I can, work with you? You can mentor me for a project for free, and I'll figure out the funding stuff later. When you're playing that kind of game, that short L, like that rejection, it transforms into a win. You just don't have to let them stop you. And that's when, if you have that mindset that you're playing the long game, you don't treat that L as like an end all be all, like this is it, like, oh, just because this one thing didn't happen, everything is now fucked. Like, no. That's when you pause, you reflect, you take a step back, and you're like, okay, this didn't work out, which means that there's something else waiting for me. So I need to figure out how I'm gonna get to that. How am I gonna find that thing? And then you put in the fucking work. And for me, that preparation, like my preparation from previous research projects, met the opportunity where I got to work on a project with one of the principal investigators of a space exploration mission, which was like my child. Like, that's like people's dream, or in some way it was also mine. And I came out with a published paper from that. That's insane too. No, not a lot of undergrads get to work on research projects where they're the lead author on the paper. Like, that just doesn't happen. And in hindsight, I'm like, wow, I'm proud and grateful. Thank you God and the universe. Last tip, create from wholeness, not emptiness. Don't grow so you can finally be enough. Grow because you already are. Instead of deriving your actions from a place of insecurity or scarcity, derive them from a place of love and abundance. In July 2024, I made this promise to myself, and I wrote this out on the first page of a new journal that my mom got me. I wrote out how up until that point, I had derived my actions from a place of hurt and pain, and I alchemized those emotions into meaningful experiences, but I never tried to go on a journey to derive those actions from love and abundance. So I promised myself that. And I can't lie, the past couple of months, like specifically this year, it's mid-March, so February and January, I've been deriving from a place of lack and scarcity and fear, rather than fully giving into my true essence. And that's exactly why it's such an important lesson for me today to be reminded of, and I really needed to hear it, hence the video. That's part of the experience too. I'm not perfect. I'm just human, bro. Like, I'm just trying my best. I make these videos so I can process my emotions and my feelings, but also derive learnings that I can take with me and that you can also take with you. You don't have to make the same mistakes I did. You can learn from my mistakes. One of the YouTubers I watch, Hamza, he said something along the lines of learn the lessons but without the scar. And I just find that kind of interesting and powerful. Like, yeah, that's I definitely resonate with that, and that's what I want to put out to other people. Like, I don't want, like, real honestly, like, I'm not gonna lie, when I have a kid, or when I have children, I don't want them to go through the same experiences I did, because I had a relatively I don't know, my childhood is mixed, where I had privilege, then I didn't have privilege, then I had privilege again, and it was just a cyclical thing. But I also went through a lot of changes and experiences that I feel like it's very difficult for kids to handle, especially when you don't have the right tools, resources, and no one's telling you about emotional regulation. Like, I don't think I would want my children to go through the same experiences, and I want others, I would teach them things so they learn from my mistakes, and I guess I want the same here as well. With that said, if there's anything you're going to take away from this video, you're not late, you're not early, you're right on time. So trust your process, trust your journey. It's all about discovering more and more of who you are, piece by piece. I'll wrap the video up there. If you made it this far into it, I just want to say I appreciate you so much, and thank you for tuning in. If you got something out of the video, definitely let me know in the comments below, or anything that it made you think of. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one.